Welcome back to Strike Fighters 2 for more of our North Vietnamese campaign following ace pilot Nguyen Van Cook as he flies MiG-21s out of Kep Air Base in North Vietnam. Today's the 14th of June, 1966, and our mission is to intercept an enemy flight approaching the Hai Phong cement plant, prevent the enemy flight from reaching its target. Our call sign today is actually named after us, the Van Cook flight, and this is exciting. I've been waiting for this to happen because I knew it was out there. A bunch of the flights in this particular mod, in the Vietnamese speech pack mod, are named after famous MiG pilots. So, in fact, the last mission, the flight was named after a MiG-17 pilot who later became the deputy minister of the Vietnamese People's Air Force. So here in the game, since we do have an astronomical number of kills, we are definitely Vietnam's highest scoring ace right now, so they named a flight after us. They gave us our own call sign. So Van Cook flight today, and we'll be taking 4 MiG-21 F-13s, take off at 8:09, over the target by 8:21, back landing at Kep, hopefully this time, at 8:35. After being shot down by cannon fire last mission, we lost our aircraft 2040, which we'd been using so far, so now we're in 1035. Same silver markings, and the usual MiG-21 air-to-air loadout, 2 ATOL missiles, and a centerline drop tank. 17,000 pound takeoff weight. Here's our map for today. Just like last mission, once again going over Hai Phong to defend against incoming bombers. This time the target's up on the north end of the city, the cement plant, and it looks like the enemy planes are going to be coming in from the southwest. So we'll be taking off from Kep, circling up to the northeast, climbing up to waypoint 3 while we get the squadron together. Then after that, we turn back down to the south, heading back into downtown Hai Phong, picking up waypoint 4, our initial point just over the north side of the city. And then we're on the lookout for incoming American aircraft as we head down to our intercept point, which will be just over Nam Dinh, down to the southwest. Let's move waypoint 6 over to the west here, because there's no point in circling back out over the ocean to go home. We're probably going to skip it anyways, but let's just put it over here. So we'll head out after the intercept, circling around to the west, and then back to the north to land at Kep. Take a look at our squadron strength here. We're up to 17 aircraft, so after losing 4 of them last mission, it appears we've been resupplied 1 or 2 planes. Supplies under 30%, so that's not great, but we can manage that. The real problem is starting to become pilot availability. That's our resource that is not replenished very quickly, so we'll have to keep a real eye on those. Make sure that we're not losing a ton of pilots every time out, because we have plenty of planes, but if we don't watch out, we won't have enough pilots to fly them, so situation we want to avoid. Finally, over to the roster. After 14 combat missions, Lieutenant Nguyen Van Cook has 41 air-to-air kills. And I am Van Cook 1. My wingman in Van Cook 2 is Second Lieutenant Tai Quang Chin. Leading the second element is going to be our Squadron XO, Major Lu Kim Bin. And he's got 8 combat missions, no kills yet, so maybe we'll give him an opportunity to bag something today. And finally, in number 4, Second Lieutenant Lam Quang Tin. Okay, that's everything, so let's get this mission underway. Let's try to bring this MiG-21 back home, this time in one piece, if we can manage. Flight controls are free and clear. Navigation lights on. We have another dark, overcast day today here in Vietnam, so we'll turn those lights on to give ourselves a bit of extra visibility while we're getting everyone together. Van Cook flight has been cleared for takeoff, runway 30, so let's get those brakes off. Full power. R11 turbojet spooling up to speed, giving us almost 13,000 pounds of thrust. Airspeed's alive. There's 200 kph as the nose starts to come up. 300, rotate. Get that radar, the gun ranging radar into boresight mode. And we'll switch right over to waypoint 3 as we depart out of Kep Air Base.
Vâng, cất. Thả đi. Ta thấy trong radar một số 2 tàu trên trời.
By the end of 1966, the war in Vietnam had been hot for almost 3 years, 2 since Rolling Thunder started. Despite all that time, the Americans were hardly making any headway against the Vietnamese. The ridiculous rules of engagement put into place by President Johnson and SecDef McNamara were the heart of the problem, and American air crews on the front line were finding the White House and their own upper chain of command to be greater enemies than the Vietnamese themselves. MiGs were not allowed to be attacked if they were on the ground, had their wheels down, or were in the large off-limit areas around Hanoi, Haiphong, and within 30 miles of the Chinese border. Missions were planned day after day into targets that had already been destroyed, and pilots were forced to fly the same routes and times into the target, making the raids predictable for the North Vietnamese gunners. In fact, ground fire and SAMs were considered the biggest threat to aircraft, while the VPAF's small fighter force was almost disregarded because the percentage of air-to-air kills was so low. This began to change in October of 1966, about 4 months ahead of where we are in the game. To counter radar-guided guns and missiles, the U.S. Air Force began equipping its first ECM pods onto F-105 Thunder Chiefs. With the QRC-160 noise jammer in use, F-105 losses dropped to almost nothing. With their guns and missiles neutralized, the North Vietnamese changed tactics and turned to fighter interception instead. There was only a total of 16 MiG-21s operating in the country at that time, but they began to make supersonic runs on Air Force strike forces. They avoided F-4s and air combat at all costs, conspicuously ignoring all Navy flights with their better-trained pilots, and concentrated instead on vulnerable Air Force bombers coming in from Thailand. Into this situation arrived a World War II double ace named Colonel Robin Olds. Olds had missed combat in Korea, but was now assigned to take over as commander of the 8th Tactical Fighter Wing, the Wolfpack, at Ubon Royal Thai Air Force Base. He arrived to find morale dangerously low. Rolling Thunder was bogging down with little results, and the mismanagement of the campaign was costing lives and aircraft. Besides F-105 losses, the 8th Tactical Fighter Wing alone had lost 18 F-4 Phantoms during the summer of 1966. When Olds arrived in September, he immediately saw the problems he had to fix. He began flying missions with his squadrons, something unheard of for wing commanders to do at the time. He also found that he had only one pilot in the wing that had gone to fighter weapons school, so he assigned that pilot, with beginning rudimentary air-to-air combat training for the other pilots. The small number of enemy MiGs, their hit-and-run tactics, and the U.S.'s own restrictive rules meant that MiG kills were very rare, but Olds recognized that his troops needed a serious morale boost. Since he couldn't get to the MiGs, he began poring over intelligence reports for a way to make the MiGs come to him. Captain John B. Stone, of the 433rd Tactical Fighter Squadron, was a veteran of over 50 missions to the north, and he pitched the idea to Olds of disguising their F-4s as bombers. Olds immediately agreed to the plan, and assigned 4 of his officers to work out the details: Captain Stone, First Lieutenant Joseph Hicks, First Lieutenant Ralph Wetterhahn, and Major James Covington. The mission was planned in complete secrecy, and the pilots flying the mission were only finally briefed the day before the operation. The QRC-160 pods, as they were active jammers, had a distinctive electronic signature that the North Vietnamese could track. Though the precious pods were few in number, Olds and Stone managed to borrow enough to equip 12 flights of Phantoms. The F-4s would masquerade as F-105s, using their call signs, routes, timings, ECM signatures, and would even fly in the F-105's inflexible ECM protection formation. The North Vietnamese were used to seeing the predictable bombing raids, and hopefully would vector fighters to intercept, only to be jumped instead by air-to-air armed Phantoms. The plan was presented to the commander of the 7th Air Force, General William Momeyer, on December 22nd. He approved the plan, and it was officially designated Operation Bolo, named for a Filipino machete that does not appear to be a weapon until it's too close to evade. The mission was planned for New Year's Day of 1967, though was pushed back a day due to bad weather. At 1:25 p.m., on January 2nd, 1967, 56 F-4s took off from Ubon Air Base in the west and Da Nang Air Base in the east and staged their fake raid into North Vietnam. Colonel Olds, leading the operation in Olds 1, was over Phu Quien at exactly 3 o'clock. The minutes ticked by with no activity, and with Ford Flight about to enter the area on its run, it began to look like maybe the Vietnamese hadn't taken the bait. Just then, Ford Flight reported that a MiG had come up through the clouds on Olds 6 o'clock, and suddenly MiG-21s were everywhere, and F-4s began firing missiles. Olds himself fired 3 Sparrows, none of which guided, and the first kill went to Olds 2, knocking down a MiG with his own Sparrow. The entire combat lasted 12 minutes before the MiGs dove away and SAMs began to fly up. Only 12 F-4s ended up engaging, Olds, Ford, and Rambler flights. They took no losses and claimed 7 MiG-21s shot down. All the MiGs involved were MiG-21 PFLs of the 921st Fighter Regiment out of Phu Quien. Among the downed pilots was 26-year-old Win von Koch, freshly back from the Soviet Union after his transition training into MiG-21s. All the Vietnamese pilots successfully ejected that day and would return to the fight. Win would get his revenge 4 months later, scoring his first kill against an F-105, then would go on to earn 8 more victories until he was pulled off the front line in 1969. Another interesting pilot involved was Daniel James Jr., Colonel Olds' deputy commander and leader of the Ford Flight. James would become the first African-American 4-star general in 1975. He graduated from the Tuskegee Institute in 1942, where he remained to instruct pilots of the Tuskegee Airmen, the Air Force's first black pilots. Though he didn't fly combat himself in World War II, he did in both Korea and Vietnam, and then had a colorful career post-Vietnam, which included a face-to-face standoff with Muammar Gaddafi in Libya. In 1975, he was given his 4th star and command of NORAD in Colorado. Okay, so we are still a bunch of miles away from the intercept point, but I've just changed my mind about what altitude I want to come in at. We were skimming along the bottom of the overcast, but I've changed my mind. I've decided I'm going to go zoom climb right up, back to high altitude again. And we're bringing the nose back down out of 25 degrees. Right there around 10 is going to level us out. And I can see by the light on my warning light panel down there, that green light, that our drop tank is empty, so probably a good time now just to dump it. Yeah, we're down at 2,000 liters, so tank's away. We'd be getting rid of it soon enough anyway, so no need to keep it. Bandits are still more than 50 miles out to our left there, so plenty of ways to go. You can see, yeah, we're still north of Haiphong. Still have to get down to Nam Dinh after that, but the high altitude is so much more comfortable for the MiG-21. There definitely is a danger of missiles, radar-guided missiles up here, but realistically, the F-4s don't scare me that much. The Sparrow's failure rate is so high, and the F-4 radar can be defeated so easily if we power dive down towards the ground to get under them. I'm fairly confident that we could evade radar missiles coming at us if we had to. And the trade-off is I would much rather have the F-4s be lured up to our altitude rather than diving down, which we're probably going to have to do anyways to intercept these strike aircraft. So rather than being jumped down low by F-4s where they have the advantage, I would at least rather have them come up to us, you know, if we're going to be surprised by some F-4s. Alternately, the nice thing about this is that we are out of visual range, so if we're just going off the GCI instructions leading us towards that strike flight, My hope is that we can wing over and dive down through the cloud cover, and if they haven't picked us up on radar, then maybe we can surprise them as we jump them coming out through the clouds. So that would be nice. Honestly, F8 Crusaders scare me way more than F4s do. Because we know how shitty all the missiles are. Everything fails, less than 15% success rate on both Sidewinders and Sparrows. But those Crusaders have guns, and that's what shot me down last time. It wasn't an F4, it was an F8 winging me with some 20mm rounds. So, and they're more maneuverable. It's much more of a white-knuckle fight to turn and burn with a Crusader than with an F4. Maybe not so much if the pilot is well-trained and really knows what he's doing, but at this point in the war, this early, no one is. So, if I had my choice, I would much rather see Phantoms escorting the strike flights than the Crusaders, but, and not that the Phantoms aren't deadly, because, we've lost plenty of wingmen to F4s now, but, overall, I would say that I'm more confident about defeating an F4 than an F8. There's our primary targets, well down and to the left, 44 miles out, down at 6,000 feet, and they're A4C Skyhawks. Coming in head-to-head with us. They'll be closing that distance pretty fast. And here we are, we're just over Nam Dinh now, hitting the intercept point, coming right below us. Look out to our right there, on the left side of the screen, there was a SAM site. So, there's a couple of them around Nam Dinh. I think there's two big sites right here in the area, so crossing my fingers, with luck we could get some SAM support today. Okay, here's those Skyhawks. Looks like they just made the turn in. Wow, we got a lot going on here. Looks like 8 strike aircraft, and an escort of fucking F8s right with them. Hey, can we get some support? Negative. All assets are committed, so we are on our own. I'm watching those F8s to see if they're... Looks like number 4 is peeling off. They may know that we're here. We're still 30 miles out. Let's blip the throttle a little bit and start turning over towards them. If the F8s come up out of the clouds, I want to be sure that we have the speed to start engaging them, or try to zoom past them to dive down on the A4s while they're trying to turn around. Okay, I think we're sort of parallel with their track, but opposite. So we're going to let them pass us, and then I'm going to start ordering the wingmen individually to dive in and attack. We'll see how that works today by giving them specific instructions. And then once we're down there, once we're through the first pass, then I'll probably just give them the order to engage air and let them go. Okay, I think 10 nautical miles is going to be my magic number here. There we go, they're coming up fast, abreast. Van Koch 2, attack my target. There we go, 2 is breaking off. He's dumped his tank. He's diving in on the targets. Now I am going to follow suit. I'm holding the second element in reserve until I can manually target one of the other aircraft, and then I'm going to order 3 to attack that target. So here we go. We're down in the overcast on instruments here. Looking to pick up some visual targets here. Trying to target. I can see the dots. Come on, target. The visual targeting is not working. Oh, there we go. We picked up one. Flight 2, attack this guy. Okay, so 2 is making a run, 3 is making a run, and now I've selected a target for myself. We're full afterburner. Something's coming in up from the upper right. I think that's one of my guys. Yeah, looks like he's pulling right in behind. Here's the aft flight of A4s. The front flight is out in front of him. ATOL's growling, trying to pick up a heat signature. They're not locking onto anything. There we go. Missile away. And it is tracking. Oh, and that's a hit! Second ATOL is away, tracking on another A4. It's trying to track. It's been outmaneuvered. Flight 2, engage air. You're on your own now. So 3 and 4 should be engaging. Oh, somebody's taking damage. Okay, those F8s are now engaging my guy, so let's pull it up and around. There's one down low. He's maneuvering. 2 plumes of smoke crashing into the water as this Crusader passes by in sort of a vertical scissors. Let's keep going, coming around. I've selected guns now. Let's try to move in for a gun kill on these escort aircraft. There's a second one cutting in between us. Coming head to head with me? Ho ho! Couldn't get an angle for a shot though. Let's cut down through the bottom of that turn, see if we can come up underneath him. More missiles flying. Somebody is firing some guns, though. That's a good sign. I got a spot out to my right. What is this? F8. That's a target. Let's go get him. Looks like he's straight and level. He might have lost sight of us. Ground fire coming up from the left. Early warning radar. We've got a missile incoming. Somebody's behind me. Chopping the throttle as we cut hard, minimizing my heat signature. We know that they're all sidewinders. Coming down, scraping along the patties here. Oh! Oh, shit! I think I just made an F8 crash into the ground, trying to maneuver with me. Yeah, look, the nearest enemy is an F8E way out to my left. This is not the guy that was chasing me. I just crashed an F8 into the ground. We just destroyed an enemy aircraft through maneuvering. Holy shit, that's, I think, the first time that's happened. Let's keep checking our 6 as best we can with our limited visibility here. Try to duck in underneath this guy if he is not aware of my presence. Maybe we could sneak up for a nice close gun kill. Looks like he's pulling up, but away from me. I think he's... Oh, shit. Radar lock. Something else is behind me. Possibly. Firing. Oh, shit. Yes! Got him. Blind shot. Through the apex of the turn. Alright, let's flip the bitch around. Let's look for this other guy that was just trying to track me with the radar. I think that was probably a gun radar locking on. Oh, more missiles fired at my wingman. I don't even know where they are at the moment. Try to look behind me. Nam Din out in front of us. We're coming down close to the Red River Delta. Let's keep it moving. Yep, there he is. Missile launch. I don't know where he is, but he fucking fired at me. I can't see him. Cutting back and forth, trying to just see where the hell he is and defeat that missile. Hey, Flight 1, engage air. Just reminding you to keep going. Okay, let's head over Nam Din towards the SAM site, which is just out to my left. Whoa, danger, close flak. This fucking guy's right behind me somewhere. Shit, pulling through it. Pulling through, ground fire. Trying to get him. God damn it, come on. There he is, adding a little bit of vertical component. Now I can see the F8. This is a little dangerous. The F8 has better thrust to weight than me. Not supposed to engage him in the vertical, but it's actually working right now. I'm able to outturn him at the moment. There we go, by adding a little bit of vertical. Yeah, look at that. We are... Well, he was going wide there for a second, but we're definitely outturning him now. If we can just keep this turn going. Like I was talking about last time, we have better instantaneous Gs, but he can hold Gs for longer, so... I'm praying for ground fire to just take him out. There we go, he's going high. Let's cut back in and scissor behind him. See if we can cut. Oh, there he is. What's he doing? Oh, he's coming towards us. Alright, let's not cut back. I'm going to keep pulling through. Low yo-yo down a little bit. Try to find him again. Okay, he's back out to my right now. Again, still just hoping that dragging him through the AAA around Nam Dinh will just shoot him down. But he is going really wide now. What's he doing? Has he lost me, or is he coming around? A little bit of lag pursuit here. Let's aim for behind him and then pull some G's to skid in right on his 6. Oh, look at this. Look at this. We've reversed positions now. This guy was on my ass, couldn't see him, and now, right over the rooftops of Nam Dinh. Oh, he is straightening out. Yes! And now he's in a straight climb, which is maybe the easiest possible shot that we have. Oh, nope, he's rolling over. We can stay with him, though. Okay, let's anticipate. We're going to pull through the turn. Envisioning where he's going to be. Yep, there he goes, popping out on the right side. And then we'll cut in under him as he comes left. Radar's picking him up. Oh, he's down low. I feel it coming. Yes, come on. Yes! Yes, yes, yes. Hard work pays off. Alright, let's keep turning. Let's check our 6. Yikes, blacking out as we're heading towards the ground. Alright, let's keep the turn going. We're back around Nam Dinh. God damn it! What is this, the last F8 on the fucking map? Red Crown still doesn't have any assets to send to help me out. Oh, we just got a mission failed. At this point, I don't give two shits about that. I just want to, I think, just separate from this F8. Yeah, he's coming in behind me. Let's head west towards that SAM site and back towards home. We are super low on fuel again. Fuck, I've done it again. Okay, we're just gonna try to escape now. Radar's off, just in case that helps at all. Oh, missile incoming! Braking hard, cutting the throttle. Oh no! Oh shit, airburst! Don't eject down! Punching out! Oh my god. Shot down again over downtown Nam Dinh, this VF-53 F-8 Crusader. This is, no shit, the last American plane over North Vietnam right now. The very last fucking one. And he got me with what looks like his last Sidewinder, which actually tracked. Aw, fuck you. Fucking Sam screaming by now that we're already shot down. That's a day late and $1 short. Well, we've once again come to a fiery end. This guy's heading home. Unless he catches a very unlucky flak hit, he's probably going to make it, so we're not even going to get the satisfaction of vengeance seeing him go down. So, yeah, let's head on back to the debriefing room and see if we made it out of that. Fate has smiled on me once again. Win Van Koch survived that second ejection. That crazy shit show of a shoot down. High speed, low altitude, spinning round and round, trying to control the remains of my aircraft to keep it upright so I could punch out right over the rooftops of Nam Dinh. But we fucking made it. Oh, man. Beyond that, things not looking too great. Our objective was to intercept an enemy flight approaching the Haiphong cement plant, prevent the enemy flight from reaching its target. Flight time was 29 minutes, 20 seconds. Result was 2 primary targets were destroyed. 1 additional enemy aircraft was destroyed, but for a loss of 4 MiG-21. So all 4 MiGs, again, lost this time out. And I don't know if any of the other pilots survived this time, but this is 2 missions in a row. We've lost 8 aircraft total, and possibly that many, or almost that many pilots as well. Well, I guess it would be 6 pilots, but that would be a huge blow if we've actually lost that many. Overall rating of failure, score of 550. Looking over at the stats, we see that I got 3 kills today, and unfortunately I was the only one that got kills. 2 with the 30mm cannon. Fired all 30 rounds, so my gun was actually dry. I disengaged because I was out of fuel, and I was going to try to head back, but even if I had tried to fight with that last F8, I had no weapons left. I literally had nothing that could shoot him down. But other than that, things didn't really go very well for my wingman today. You can see number 2, he'd never even fired a weapon, which I'm very surprised about, considering that I sent him in first. You know, he was supposed to have the honors of the first surprise dive attack, and apparently he didn't get any weapons off, so that's unfortunate. And then number 3, Major Lou, our XO, he did fire 12 rounds from his cannon, so he fired half his ammo load, but unfortunately missed whatever he was aiming at. And then our number 4 there, he didn't fire either, and so I don't know what the heck happened. I mean, we're going to have to look at the log. I'm not sure how long these guys lasted, if they got shot down right away, which is why they were not able to fire, or if they were just not able to maneuver into position, so we'll check that out in a second. But first, let's look at the roster and see if any of these guys made it back to base. Ah, god damn it. Major Liu Kim Bin killed in action over today's target, so he was not able to get out of his aircraft. Number 4 also didn't make it back. That's Second Lieutenant Lam Quang Tin, also killed in action out over the Nam Dinh Haiphong area. And number 2 was also killed, so Second Lieutenant Tai Quang Chin, all 3 wingmen dead after that outing. I am once again the sole survivor. So that sucks. That puts us at a total of 8 pilots killed so far. And Captain Lam still wounded, so he's not available to fly. So our active list is dwindling lower and lower. Okay, here's the log. Even though 2 was supposed to go in first, I fired the first missile at 8:26 and 49 seconds, firing at an A4C, and it actually hit. We had a good track and a hit with our AA-2, destroying that Skyhawk. I fired the second AA-2, which did track, but was unfortunately outmaneuvered. Almost immediately after that, so right after the 2 fires, at 8:26:57, the Crusaders came out of wherever they were at and fired a Sidewinder at Chin and hit him right away. So that was my number 2. So I don't even know where he went. Maybe he got intercepted on his dive down into the target by these escorts. I'm not really sure, but somehow a Crusader got behind him, shot him down right away. Also during 8:27, our number 3 Major Bin was firing his 30mm rounds at one of the Skyhawks. Seems to have missed completely. Then we've got a couple of Crusaders firing AIM-9Ds at me and Second Lieutenant Lam, that was number 4. Lam was hit by one of the Sidewinders, shot down near the Canal of Bamboo. I was able to evade mine. At 8:29:30, I fired half of my ammo complement at this F8 Crusader, but I hit it, destroying it at 8:29:35. Only about 10 or 12 seconds later, what is that? We've got 4 Sidewinders launched at Major Bin and myself, and a Crusader was firing cannons at me at the same time, which I don't think I ever even saw rounds coming towards me. Did I? I don't remember. 8:30:49, Major Liu Kim Bin was hit by a 9D Sidewinder shot down by the Electron radar station. So he was the last one to go down. So he must have been the radio call that I actually noticed. This is while we were tangling right over downtown Nam Dinh there. 8:33:40, I fired, well, I guess that would be my last 12 rounds of 30mm cannon at that Crusader after some skillful flying to reverse our positions, get in behind him, destroying him. Oh, this actually also does not include, I just remembered this, this doesn't include that aircraft that slammed into the ground, which I'm convinced was an American trying to chase me through the maneuver. I'm pretty sure it's that F8 that fired the missile at me and was not able to pull out of the dive, crashing into the water right next to the coast, just off Nam Dinh. There's a name for that. Is that like a maneuvering kill or something? I don't remember offhand, but the game's not counting that. But that is a thing that happened. I'm still overjoyed. That's such a cool thing to have happen. So there was in fact an additional American aircraft lost out there. So after blowing up that Crusader at 8:33, the very last F8 over the whole country, with his last missile, slid in behind me, firing at 8:34:55. So after a minute of sort of wild maneuvering, trying to see where the hell he was able to finally get a bead on me and fired, and I thought I was going to dodge it. I mean, we dodged like 2 or 3 missiles this time out, and as I was pulling through the turn, I'd brought the throttle back to try to reduce the thermal emissions at the tail end, and I actually saw the reflection of the missile flare down on the buildings underneath me as it came in and hit me, which was at the 8:34:59, and I was shot down right over the middle of Nam Dinh, apparently near the textile mills. So that is that. Another wild mission. I've now been shot down twice in consecutive missions, once by guns and once by missiles. So I've actually received a missile hit. I can only surmise that as I was pulling through that turn, I might have almost outmaneuvered it, but I think the proximity warhead went off and it airburst behind me, and that was enough to blow the plane apart. Had it been a direct hit, I'd probably be dead. But luckily, it was not. It was an indirect. We were able to ride that baby down until I could get upright and eject. Not that that's actually simulated in this game. I can eject at any attitude. The game doesn't really care. But within that moment, I found myself trying to steer the aircraft upright before I hit Shift Escape. Oh, shit. So, oh man, so 8 aircraft lost over the course of 2 missions, 6 pilots dead. I'm definitely feeling the futility of going up against the American numbers. I mean, we saw that the strike flight had 8 aircraft, and it had a 4 aircraft escort, so that's 12 planes. We were only 4, so we're already outnumbered, and we don't even have enough weapons to like shoot them all down. And I don't even know what sort of friendly support we had from other squadrons, other MiGs out there. The game sends out flights of 2 sometimes, so it's like us, however many I end up taking, and then the other flight that's supposed to be supporting us is only like 2 planes. That's not going to do shit. That's a fart in the wind. Yeah, the idea of being able to go toe-to-toe, one-on-one with the American forces is very clear that that's not going to work. So I think next time out, well, we're going to have to do something different. We're going to have to lay low for a little bit, see if we can go through a couple of missions and not lose anybody, and so maybe we can get some replacements in. I don't know exactly what that's going to look like. I'll make the decision, I guess, based on what sort of mission it is. But maybe taking just an element of 2 aircraft out and trying to do some hit-and-run tactics, and then, fire missiles, and then just run away and go back to base. It sort of feels like we have no choice but to adopt the realistic North Vietnam tactics, at least for a couple of missions, till we can sort of get back on our feet. Because if we lose another flight of 4 aircraft next time out, we're not going to have any pilots left. So let's try to avoid that. But anyways, that's all. That's all for next time. We'll figure that out. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one. Despite the fiery ending again, I was really happy with a bunch of the flying I did today. We got some pretty sweet dogfighting in. Come back next time. We'll see how the old 921st Red Star Squadron's gonna fare in the upcoming months. We'll see you then.